This is most people's idea of a British car factory. A ruin that closed down after some long-forgotten strike in the 1970s. But it turns out that actually there's rather more going on than you might think. Today, a new car rolls off a production line somewhere in Britain every 20 seconds. Honda has a factory in Swindon where 2,700 people are employed to make the Civic, the Jazz and the CR-V. Toyota makes cars in Derbyshire, cars which are then exported to Japan. And then there's the Nissan plant in the northeast. Last year, this one factory made more cars than the whole of the Italian motor industry put together.
And it's not just whole cars we make either. Last year, 1 in 3 Fords sold globally had an engine made either in Wales or here in Essex. And there's more. And then we arrive at the Rolls-Royce plant in Sussex, where, yes, many of the components are shipped over from Germany. But the job of putting them all together is done here. Because Britain is the only country that appreciates it's better to trim the seats with hide from bulls, because cows get stretch marks when they're pregnant. Then you have the people doing the wood, Grand Masters they're called, and the paint shop, where 45 kilos of paint is applied to each car. And then there's this chap. It's his job to apply the coach lines and embellishments to the finished product by hand. You won't find his equivalent in a Hyundai factory. He learned his trade as a pub sign writer. It's said he has the steadiest hand in the world.
Then there's motor racing. In the whole world, there are 11 Formula One teams. 8 are based in Britain, and 7 can be seen from the top of this one hill in Oxfordshire. Over there, you have Williams. Up there in the Cotswolds, there's Lotus and Caterham. Then moving further along, we have Force India, Marussia, Red Bull and Mercedes. Britain's contribution to motorsport is extraordinary. All IndyCar races. Every Dakar winner since 2009. 35 of the 56 starters at this year's Le Mans, including the car that won it. The Marussia Formula One car and the Pagani Huayra. All of them have gearboxes made in that factory on this little industrial estate in Berkshire. A whopping 75% of all research and development done in global motorsport is British. British clutch, British hybrid system, British ECUs.
And it's not just us saying, oh, look, aren't we clever? The rest of the world likes what we're doing these days. For 5 out of the last 7 years, Aston Martin has been voted coolest brand in the world. And then there's the list of global celebrities who drive a Range Rover.
Time now to move away from the cars and into the heavy engineering.
On this map of the world, all the countries shaded in red use military vehicles made in Britain. All the countries shaded green use British-made lorries to move stuff around. In all the countries shaded yellow, there's at least one JCB helping to build something. And while it's not exactly heavy engineering, all the countries shaded brown watch British-made motoring shows.
Having established we do make quite a lot of stuff in Britain, we decided to find out just how much. So we hatched an ambitious plan. We called all the companies that make motorised vehicles and said to them, could you bring whatever it is you make to a gathering in London? Little bit of a problem with Morgan, who didn't know what London was, but eventually everybody responded magnificently.
Jeremy, Richard and I are taking 3 different versions of the new F-Type to London. I, for example, have the V6. Whoa, that's the Triumph Bites. Tremendous.
Meanwhile, deep in the countryside. Oh, look at that! And now look what's coming. It's the Morgans. Carry on, chaps.
Much later than everyone else, the Formula One cars began to leave for London. Which in Milton Keynes was quite a sight. And quite a sound. Eventually, the fleet of vehicles that had been made in Britain began to arrive on the streets of the capital. And after the slowest had turned up, we climbed into our Jags and headed for the meeting point to see how much stuff was there. This feels a bit special, this does. And it became even more special as we swung past Buckingham Palace and onto the Mall.
There's more than I thought.
The Mall has hosted many uplifting scenes over the years, but it has never hosted anything quite like this before. It wasn't just the sheer volume that took our breath away, it was the diversity, the breadth. Cars, lorries, diggers, racers, ice cream vans, hearses. It was magnificent. It was huge.
I didn't know we made those massive tipper trucks. Look at that thing.
Tractor. Didn't think of that.
Land speed record cars.
There's my bus. All right, mate.
Oh, the eagle! A lot of people say that today, Britain is nothing more than a bank or a boutique or a busted flush, but looking at that staggering collection back there, I'm not sure they're right. Good night.